Well, look who's back. We're here to talk wrestling once again. What's going on, fellas? It's your boy Mill Hustles.
Hello,
What's going
and this
on?
is Roger.
This is Isaiah.
What's going on, guys? How have y'all been since our last little chat?
I've been doing pretty good,
Same
chilling,
here.
you
Cool,
know.
cool. So we're just gonna keep it brief today. There's a couple of subjects we're gonna talk about that I think are of importance that deserve our unfiltered opinions. What do y'all think?
Oh yeah,
You go for it.
So let's
everything
go ahead.
deserves our unfiltered opinions.
Oh, absolutely. But let's go ahead and kick it off, guys. The first subject I want to talk about is the cancellation of Talking Smack. Okay. You may not have seen the show, you may have, but it's basically a talk show that they aired after SmackDown on Tuesdays where Renee Young and a co host, usually Daniel Bryan, would interview whoever was performing on SmackDown that night. And they would have, pretty much an open microphone, an open forum to say whatever they wanted. And the show got pretty hot sometimes.
Oh yeah,
But as you
I
know,
don't know if it's actually they canceled. Like I think all the ones after Talking Smack, but it'll still air after SmackDown pay-per-views. But it'll only be after
yeah,
pay-per-view.
yeah, but how much longer could that go? Okay, so I guess the rewarding is they have cut a lot of Talking Smack. But anyway, this is the problem that I have. I with the WWE, you can never tell if it's scripted or it's a shoot. I mean,
Yeah,
a lot of the boys like to say worked shoot, and that's I don't know what the hell a worked shoot is, or something that's real and fake at the same time. That's almost like being a tweener. You know what a tweener is? You can't tell if they're a baby face or a heel, but it just shows how Vince McMahon likes to control everything. Everybody has said it's because of him that the show's been cut. Um, you may have checked out the episode where Miz went completely berserk on Daniel Bryan and just started ripping into him.
that was very memorable. That was probably one of his best promos he's ever thrown ever.
Yeah, and these guys are going on there and they're pretty much giving out their true feelings. I've heard people talk about the product, about politics, about their opportunities not being there because of this reason or that reason. And I think
Yeah,
Vince is like,
it's an open mic for everybody,
what do you
and that's like the only place you could see honesty on the network. I guess a lot of people were saying like straight honesty from the wrestlers and the announcers.
What's funny is they canceled Legends with JBL, and it was the exact same thing. And they also let me try that again. They also canceled a show from when the WWE Network used to be an actual channel on satellite. WWE 24/7, Legends Roundtable. Like, they used to shoot the shit on there too.
Yep.
Yeah, I
So
think
what the hell's going on? Go ahead, Isaiah.
I think that's pretty much Vince's ego talking, doing because and also because of the environment of Talking Smack where wrestlers get to say whatever they want, and he doesn't like that because it's exposing his business. So yeah, he's gonna cancel it.
Oh, yeah.
But
Hey, I'm doing one of those podcast
why?
things, but I'll be with you in a second here. Yep, it's all good.
Because I mean,
Actually, if you want to come and talk to
I'm
me,
gonna
you
grab a
can.
shower real quick.
that's all
Okay.
like like a segment. I didn't see the whole show, but I heard a lot. I heard it was unscripted and whatnot, and he had a problem with that. So that's all I know about it.
Yeah, Talking Smack is unscripted, and I think they canceled Renee's Unfiltered too. Renee Young's Unfiltered TV show on there.
Yeah,
I
that's
like that.
complete.
That was one of my
That's
favorite shows on there. That's completely gone.
Yep, that's dead. I'll give you another example of control. When every time that Stone Cold did a podcast on the WWE Network,
Yeah,
there'd always be a bad fallout. Oh, Vince was unhappy with this. Vince was unhappy with that. Every fucking time, without fail.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he likes to control stuff close to the vest.
Yeah, even back then in the Attitude Era, he he used to control. So Vince wanted to control some of.
Well, if during the Attitude Era, hell, even during the golden years, the Hulk Hogan years, the wrestlers would not be so controlled. I mean, they would have to. Vince still approved everything, but he let people be themselves more than they do now. Now everything is scripted to the T. I mean, I bet you they're picking finishers for you. It's just crazy.
Oh,
yeah.
That's why that you can see the ref has an earbud in some of the matches. So if they're watching the match and they wanted to go a different way, they'll tell the ref, and the ref will tell the guys.
Well, the referees have always had the earpiece, and that's usually because of timing, and when they're ordered to tell the ring announcer something, and or when they're saying, or when whoever's in the gorilla position says, "Hey, y'all need to cut this match. Like, we need to end it now."
Yeah. But I think they're actually giving them orders through the earbuds, like, "Hey, pin them now and move on," and stuff like that.
They are, absolutely. I know that for sure. I don't know, guys. Honestly, with this shit that's been going on, I would never want to work for that company again. So, I'm good. So, go ahead, bro.
His ego has gotten so big to the point where he wants to control everything. Like back then, I was listening to this shoot interview with Stone Cold in it, and Stone Cold was talking about how he didn't want him to have any promo time or time on the mic. So
sorry, guys, I had to step out a second. What were you saying?
I was talking about how I was listening to this podcast by Stone Cold and Vince Russo, and Vince Russo was talking about how Vince McMahon tried to cut off Stone Cold's mic work and everything, so he didn't want him to have any time on the mic. Originally,
that's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. Some of his best stuff is talky stuff.
We got Robert Kolb in the chat. He's saying he feels Dixie Carter's going to be on Raw. That's a possibility. Or CM Punk be back soon. I think CM Punk will be back, but I don't think anytime soon, to be honest. I think he's still burnt out from wrestling. And he also said, who do we think is going to be that person Kurt Angle has been texting? He said either Triple H wife with Stephanie, 2 CM Punk unlikely, and 3 Dixie Carter. Honestly, I think it's going to be Stephanie McMahon. I mean, the WWE is known for getting our hopes up and then totally crushing it. They love to troll us. So fuck you for that. WWE.
It's so bull crap, and a lot of stuff that's just wrong with today's WWE.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, bro, like guys, like, I'm into wrestling, but just stuff that's old. Like today, I picked up a couple of DVDs, and it's just mostly older stuff, like Kevin Owens DVD, Seth Rollins DVD, DDPs, and it talks about stuff from the early years that I'm interested in, not the current stuff. I don't give a fuck about the current stuff, to be honest. I mean, shit, I don't even worry about missing Raw anymore. Whenever I do watch Raw, I start to get anxious, like, fuck, end already, And it's gotten to the point where I just give up sometimes.
Yeah.
Same here.
They use the same people over and over, and they've got like a talent roster of like 40 to 50 people, and you see the same 10 people over and over.
Hey, and I want to give a shout out to my boy Magic Tech Review. He's in the audience. Make sure that y'all go subscribe to Magic Tech Review because he's always doing great technology reviews, especially cell phones, unboxing, Q&As, as well as lots of cool giveaways. So make sure y'all subscribe to Magic Tech Review. You can't miss it. Just Google it, Magic Tech Review. If you can't spell it, you need to go back to school. All right, next, the women's tournament. What do y'all think about this? I think that this is going to have even though the Cruiserweight Classic was just that, a classic, it was an excellent tournament. I think that this women's tournament is going to surpass that, and I'm hearing that they're going to have their own television show. And I'll be honest, I'm 100% sure an all-women's wrestling show on the WWE Network will get much more viewership than 205 Live will. Not a knock, but that's just the way it is.
Well, the Cruiserweight Classic had like a lot of good wrestlers like Kota Ibushi in it, and then when it translates to 205, a lot of those wrestlers are still under contract of like New Japan or some other place, so they can't go fight. Like what's his name? Grand Metalik was in the tournament, but he's only been on 205 like once in like it since it started.
You know, so, and also the other guy, the other masked guy, the Puerto Rican one.
What's his name?
And I have him as a fucking friend on Facebook, and I can't remember his
Golden
name.
Links. Lince Dorado.
Lince Dorado. That guy's an incredible talent, and he's never on there. Those guys are probably going to get released pretty soon because they do spring cleaning around this time. Even though it's a little past spring, spring's coming to an end. Well, we're in summer, but they're going to start cleaning up a little. Every year they do this. They release 7, 8, 9 wrestlers, a whole bunch of staff and shit like that. I'm pretty sure those guys are going to get let go. I mean, look, Austin Aries just left. What does that tell you?
Yeah, I think Austin Aries leaving was a good thing, though, because they said there's been some problems backstage. And if you listen to anything by Jim Cornette, he says he's a really hard guy to work with, and he's really a downer to be around.
Vince Russo said the same thing. However, there's people that are at the WWE now have said that that's not true, that he's not that way anymore. And besides, you really can't be that difficult at the WWE because they'll chew your ass up. Like, that's just how it is, It's not Ring of Honor or TNA where they're smaller ponds. This is the fucking ocean.
Well, he might have left just because he didn't like what they were doing with his character, and he'd rather go to like Ring of Honor or Japan or somewhere else and have a better run there.
Yeah, all I know is that Ring of Honor, man, he left with a lot of heat there. So,
yeah.
We'll see. Look, guys, I'm going to tell y'all one name, and I want y'all to look her up, okay? Actually, it's 2 names. One of them might be in it, but there's 2 names I was looking forward to in the women's tournament that I really wanted to see. Actually, you know what? Make that 3. I wanted to see Ruby Reyes. I don't know. She might be in it. She might not be in it. I wanted to see Ruby Reyes. I wanted to see Deonna Purrazzo. Y'all have seen her on NXT. I love Deonna. She's awesome. And I also wanted to see, and I'm going to butcher her last name, but it's Alexandra Barula. She's French, but that girl is she's definitely paid her dues, and sooner or later we need to see her in the WWE because she's beautiful and she can work her ass off. And I have yet to see an independent wrestler that's an independent women's wrestler with more passion than her. So y'all definitely look her up. Her name is Alexandra Barulas, Barrulas.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, definitely.
I would look forward to seeing Tessa Blanchard if she's in it, because I saw her in NXT for a little bit. I don't know if they moved her up, but she left the Fed and went to WCPW for a while and fought there because they just weren't using her at all. Now I think
okay. No comment on her.
Okay.
No comment on her. I have no comment on her. But yeah, I also would have liked to see Raquel from TNA there. But for some, you know how WWE is with people with she's a great looking woman. She can work, but I guess the age thing.
Yeah.
Those are the few women I wanted to see there, because they're free agents. Technically, they work independent shows. They make a living. But if they would have been on the Cruiserweight Classic, like, I'm not knocking anybody on the Cruiserweight Classic, the Mae Young Classic, but I would have loved to see them on there.
Yeah.
Now, Mercedes Martinez, I like her, and I think she's going to win, honestly, but we'll see. Because, last year with the CWC, they aired all the shows, the spoilers. The final tournament is what's live.
Yeah.
But what do you think about women's wrestling now versus where it's been in the last couple of years?
I think it's coming along in strides. You look back at the Raw and Vince Russo days, they're just girls in bikini and bra and panty matches just slamming each other's head on the ground, then eventually get to pin. So, from where that was to today, they've come in leaps and strides, and they've done a lot of like expanding and moving forward. So I like how it's going. I'd like to see like more variety, like more people getting used. Yeah. And I'm not sure what's going on with Bayley.
Yeah, I agree. Back then, women's wrestling used to be
Robert Kolb, the Japan girl. There's a couple of women from Japan. I know exactly who you're talking about. I think she might be in it, but I might be wrong. But they have people from all over the world in this tournament, and I don't know a lot of them. There's so many freaking wrestlers. It's just crazy.
Yeah, there's a couple of girls from Japan that are heavyweight champions in Japan, I believe. Like not like I don't think not like Asuka, but like right around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know about other countries, but in America, women's wrestling used to be bad. Like they used to be, in bikinis and stuff like that, just to please people.
And I'll never ever knock women's wrestling. I mean, I fucking used to love watching Alundra Blaze wrestle. Have y'all ever heard of Leilani Kai?
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one that got me in the wrestling business.
Yeah.
She was the first person to get me in the wrestling business. Like anything I ever did as far as wrestling went, because of Leilani Kai, it happened. Anything at all. So I owe her forever, and I'm, we're good friends. So, shout out to Leilani. Cool. Yeah.
And then you have other shows like Lucha Underground with Sexy Star and Cobra Moon having matches like the Moss match.
Is there any? I didn't see I didn't see if there was any luchadoras on this Mae Young Classic. Do y'all know if there was?
I didn't notice one, but I'm not sure.
They did that. They did the Parade of Champions. I need to watch that. I need to sit down and watch that just to see exactly who's in it, because they did the same thing. They got 32 competitors again, but I need to. It's a 15-minute video on YouTube. I need to sit down and see exactly who it is.
I mean, I wouldn't recognize Sexy Star without her mask anyway, so I'm not quite sure who's there. But I don't know if she'd be there or not.
I've seen her without a mask.
I've seen her without a mask, but I don't think I'd recognize her in a parade of 30 women.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
Did you know that she tried to get into WWE, but she got rejected?
Really?
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you got to remember, guys, that just because we like them does not necessarily mean that they are going to get signed to the WWE. I mean, we're fans, okay? We can all say, hey, she's awesome. Or, when I was younger and there was a huge splash of a debut, I'd be like, oh, he needs to be the world champion. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to be realistic now, but unfortunately, that's just how it is. I mean, if every wrestler that I like could work for the WWE, that'd be awesome. But that's just not,
Yeah, I feel like.
You know what? There's one more female wrestler. I can't believe that I forgot. I forgot to mention her.
Who's that?
Her last name. Shit, I keep spelling it wrong. Nazareth Lucero. She's from She's Puerto Rican and Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
Look her up. She's a luchadora. She works, I believe, for CMLL. Mm-hmm. But that's another female competitor I would have loved to see on this Mae Young Classic. And she has a huge following on Facebook. Like, she has just thousands of fans.
Because the Cruiserweight Classic, some of them weren't ready for prime time, so some of them went to NXT, like Ho Ho Lun, the Chinese wrestler that was in the CWC. Yeah. He's in NXT right now. You don't hardly ever see him, but he's there.
So a guy like Ho Ho Lun, who's a small guy but he's charismatic, just in how he is.
Yep,
that guy could be your next Daniel Bryan.
Exactly. And he's one of the guys from China, one of the best wrestlers around China, because he's gone everywhere else and learned to wrestle.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely. I'm in the chat, and I'm typing into wrestlers that we should be looking up.
Mm-hmm.
Ruby Reyes, Alexandra Barula, Nazareth Lucero. Who was the other one I mentioned? There was one more I mentioned. I can't remember who it was, though.
Deanna Perez?
Yeah, Deanna Purrazzo.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I'm not good.
Those 5 competitors. I put it in the chat. Y'all can see it there. And the actual YouTube channel.
Cool.
Okay, so moving on. What was our other topic? Y'all two had topics for me.
You
I
said
say,
my top-
Isaiah, masks, wrestlers,
Yeah.
American wrestlers, wrestlers not from Mexico or Japan, especially not from Mexico. American wrestlers saying that if you wear a mask, you can't get over, you can't see their emotions, etc., etc. Okay, I'm gonna compare it to Batman and Spider-Man.
Mhm.
yeah.
So, are you telling me that Spider-Man and Batman, because you can't see their emotions, their facial expressions, I should say, they're not over, they're boring?
No,
I disagree. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, okay.
To that, I'll say a couple things. Rey Mysterio Jr. And
There you
that's
go.
all.
There you go. Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio
Yeah.
Jr. is one. That's a perfect example. Who do you got, Isaiah? Look at the guys in Lucha Underground.
Yeah,
I know, you
they're
got-
over it.
You see enough faces so you can tell what's going on. I mean, that's a kind of a dumb comment that they made. I don't think it doesn't matter mask or face. It matters on what you do.
Let me tell you this though. That person was like trolled hard. He's a wrestler. I can't remember his name though, and it's probably not important anyway because he'll never get over. Fuck you, by the way. Well, he got the shit trolled out of him because he was wrong, absolutely wrong.
Well, yeah, and then like people like Mexicans will take the wrestling extremely serious. A character loses his mask, it's a horrible dishonor. Like down south, you know, then they don't wrestle anymore, or they change their name and change their whole thing.
You know, I'll be honest. I was never a fan of the NWA. I was never a fan of the AWA. I grew up on the WWF. I barely liked WCW until the NWO days. I was a huge ECW fan. So me and a lot of especially wrestlers, our philosophies are completely different. What we like, what we dislike as fans, it was just not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You know?
in regards to the masked wrestlers, I heard Jim Cornette say something about that. He said something about masked wrestlers won't get over because their faces aren't showing any emotions, and I disagree with that because
I heard him say something different. I heard him say that it's in their mannerisms, in their psychology is how they get over. I didn't hear him say that. I've heard wrestlers say it, but I don't remember Jim saying that. I'll have to look that up.
Well, I guess he probably did say that, but I mean, either way, I think that yeah, like you can still get over if you're a masked wrestler because of the body language, mannerisms, and because the reason is also because of the this house and how how appealing the mask is, and like Rey Mysterio Jr. He's a great example of someone who's gotten over, not just because
like him on Psychosis. Psychosis had a bigger mask, and people like Drago, who's completely covered like his entire face, and you can still see his emotions because of body language and other stuff like that. You know.
Okay, okay. So a friend of mine, her name is London Ali. Okay, and she said, "What if I became a masked wrestler?" And I commented, "Your alter ego, go for it." I told her, "Go for it." And this fucking moron, what the fuck is his name? Some guy named Blake said, "As a formerly masked wrestler, I will say that it is limiting. You are unable to use your face to express emotion. However, having a mask gimmick can be fun, allowing you to explore other characters and seeing what you like. It also allows you to fill a spot on a card if somebody no shows." I agree with most of that, except the express emotion part. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Unless you have actually worked most of your career as a masked wrestler, if you haven't watched Lucha Libre, then you're fucking wrong. It's not an opinion; it's a fact.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, at the same time, though, I'm not really sure how much of an influence Lucha Libre has compared to Mexico, because in Mexico, Lucha Libre has been popular for centuries.
Look,
Like,
I'll tell you this, okay? If you are a professional wrestler, especially a wrestler, I'm not a professional wrestler. I do other shit in the wrestling business. I'm not a wrestler. I have trained to wrestle. I can take a bump. But if you are a professional wrestler, and you want to be, you want to be called a student of the game, you'll watch Lucha Libre, you'll watch Japanese wrestling, you'll watch American wrestling, you'll watch European wrestling, Canadian wrestling.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree with you 100%.
WCPW is having like the Olympics of wrestling right now. There's going to be like all these different qualifiers from Canada, Japan, and all these people are trying to fight like everybody else. It's pretty interesting. Just shout out.
They're all right, I guess. Anyway, moving on. What was our next and final subject?
You wanted to talk about like backward in the locker room controversy.
Oh, the big casting. Okay, look, guys, I have only a few seconds. Not a few seconds, a few statements about that. Vince McMahon is one of Donald Trump's best friends. Big Cass has nothing to worry about. The heat is with the boys, not the higher ups. He has nothing to worry about.
Linda McMahon's in Trump's cabinet.
There you go. Whether you agree with Big Cass's political views or not, it's whatever. He has nothing to worry about. Now, Enzo, I've heard that he does talk a lot. He seems like someone that does talk a lot. I like Enzo. But at the same time, the backstage is so delicate. Like, not delicate, but like they're really anal about the littlest shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when I'll give you an example. When I went backstage once with Chris Hamrick, who was literally 5 minutes from me, Confederate Cash Chris Hamrick. He used to be an ECW. We went backstage. No, I wasn't with him. No, it wasn't with him. It was someone else. But either way, he told me once when he was in ECW, when you were new, you go shake everybody's hand. You know, you be extra nice, because if not, you get heat. Man, I'm sorry, I can't be part of that bullshit. But that's how it is. It's a profession. It's a brotherhood. It's a sisterhood. But you know, they have something called Wrestler's Court too. So
yeah,
you know, it doesn't surprise me.
Use common good manners. Like, I think they kicked the Miz out of the locker room for eating fried chicken over somebody's like bag or something like that. Like, he was like getting like food stuff in the guy's bag, so they kicked him out, and he couldn't change in the locker room. He had to change out in the hall for a lot of the time he was in there.
Big fucking deal. Big fucking deal, in my opinion. Big fucking deal. I would rather fucking change in a fucking bathroom stall than in a locker room.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not.
I think the other wrestlers are just kind of like, we don't want to hear about political stuff. Just kind of keep it to yourself. I mean, tell us about something happy or something like that. But I mean, sometimes when people talk about political stuff, they're just like trying to drum up a debate or something. So
yeah. I mean, it is what it is. So, any final thoughts, fellas?
I'm going through Lucha Underground season 2, and it's awesome. It's on Netflix right now, and I love the shows that they're airing a year or two ago from the stuff I'm seeing on the Fed now. So yeah, if you haven't watched Lucha Underground, check them out.
Man, I love that show to death. I've been watching season 2 recently. The stuff that goes down is just mind blowing, man. It almost, oh my goodness, I was watching. Like, I don't want to spoil it, but it got way darker than the first season and more violent too.
Oh yeah, because it's like it looked like the new place didn't have air conditioning, so everybody's either sweaty or wet. I'm like, that's kind of weird. It's dark and sweaty.
Yeah, I don't know if they. I'm not really sure where they filmed it. I guess they used the Not sure if they used the old temple or whatever. Or they modified it a bit.
More than likely, they used the old temple and just made some changes.
Yeah, it was.
I like the fact it's like a road movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the season. Even if it had some things where I was like, I'm not really sure about this, but either way, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, they can be over the top. We admit that. I haven't really watched a lot of season 3 because I feel like even though it's still a great product, it's not as good as season 2. Season 2 was way better than season 1. So, you know, I just feel like that about wrestling as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
Yeah.
See, I like that they have a guest star on there. Like they have Alberto El Patron, but they don't have him on there all the time. He just comes for like a couple months, then leaves. You know, so you get a good influx of wrestlers. You get different quality. You know, coming through there, and they're not there for forever. Some of them are, but I mean, some of them just come and go.
Yeah.
So that way it keeps it fresh, you know.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw Wagner Jr. make his debut and on the I don't know if y'all heard of him, but he made his debut on like the last episode of actually Ultima Lucha.
Mm-hmm.
Ultima Lucha, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's if it was a one-time thing. Probably might see him again in season 3. Not sure.
Yeah.
But and he's hella popular in Mexico.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of like families in Mexico that have had like a wrestling lineage. So like, you know, you're junior until your dad dies, then you actually take over the name of whatever it is. Like Dos Mascaras or Dos I think something like that.
Yeah. And that's what I love about Lucha Underground. It's all about tradition. It's all about lineages and passing.
I'm in season 2 where like Rey Mysterio Jr. showed up, and it's pretty awesome there. And he showed up with a wrestler named the Dragon Azteca, who's his little brother in real life, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was.
Hey, before we go, guys. Hey, before we go, quick question, and it does have to do with Lucha Underground, kind of indirectly.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all think about the situation with Paige and Alberto Del Rio?
I think that's a caustic relationship, man. It seems kind of toxic because I mean, there's always like problems and stuff going around, and like I think the two families don't want them to be together, or at least Paige's family don't want him dating Patron or something like that.
Everything was good at first.
Yeah, it's always good in the beginning, but it always like gets worse as it goes along.
No, what I mean is like usually if the parents don't want you to be with them, they usually start out bad. But they'll tell you at the beginning, nah, we don't fucking like him. Yeah, they liked him at first. What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
Okay, anyway, the fucking hangout shit.
Huh. I think it's a toxic relationship, but I mean, it's interesting to see where it goes. I mean, it's good for the public and stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes. I wish him luck. There seemed to be a lot of like scandal, like was he beating her and stuff like that. And then her brother actually came out and said something to the effect of that said Patron was like beating her or something like that. And then she went back and said, "Oh no, he's not beating me. It's okay."
The WWE is supposed to produce a movie about Paige's life Paige with The Rock. You know, I mean, have they even reached out to her? Has anybody even, reached out to Paige, say, "Hey, are you okay? What's going on?" And I'm pretty sure the fellow locker room has, but I'm talking about the higher ups.
I don't know. If you watch any of the WWE Divas, Paige is kind of like an outsider. It's like she's kind of like
still though, she's an employee of the company. She's a human being. Still
on suspension though. I think still. I don't know if she's ever going to go back at this point because of
her suspension,
etc.
Her suspension, both of them, because they were back to back. They've been up for months.
Yeah, and she hasn't been on TV yet, which makes you wonder.
She's probably not even getting paid right now because she's breaching contract.
Yeah. Oh, I think Isaiah's phone died. So.
Yeah, but we're about to wrap up either way. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you to everyone that was in the live stream. We try to do this at least once a week if there's something to freaking talk about.
Or if there's not.
We don't do a fucking episode. We'll talk about something not wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just do what everybody else does and just crap all over it.
Like, share, subscribe. Tell us what to talk about next episode. We'll look at the comments. Well, Gilbert will. I don't know if I will, but he'll tell me what's going on.
All righty, people. We will see y'all later.